I'm just typing it into chat there. Is that okay? I've lost your voice, sorry. I cannot hear you.
So have you sent it, the email?
Just type it in chat. I'll send it as an email as well.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right. Is that the Viet Testament email? Which email should I send it to?
The TCE. Ah, yeah. So you put it here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I see it here. Okay. So you have any information about Lang also?
I don't, but I can construct something very quickly for you.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Is that enough?
Ah, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to make a cup of tea, and then I'll be back here a good 10 minutes before the session starts.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
See you soon.
See you soon. I'll just put myself on mute.
So will will Miss Lan will join you shortly? You just mute yourself. Please unmute Dr. James. Hello, Miss Lan.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So James had just sent me your biology. Yeah. So so Thảo, so why can't I unmute the speaker? So it seems that we make some actions that we already mute the speakers, right? Okay, let me see. Just a minute. Okay, can you check? Can you unmute yourself?
Unmute myself now.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Lan. Really nice to see you. Are you in your school right now? Ah, Lan, you need to unmute.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Yeah, I unmute myself already. Yeah, I'm at my school. Yeah, and have just finished a class and finished marking as well. Yeah.
Cool. Really cool.
How are you?
I am very, very, very well. What was I going to say? How do the slides work? Do we forward them on, or do Han and Tao forward them on? So the slides.
Yeah, I would love to ask the moderator as well because I really don't know that we're gonna show the slide or they're gonna show the slide for us.
Okay, so the slide that you have already sent to us is just for the backup. in case we have some technical problems.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
So
and now you will share your slide.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Lan, have you got a copy of those slides?
I did. Yeah, I did. But yeah, the host disable attendee to screen sharing. I cannot share my slide right now.
Oh, really?
Ah.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
please check it. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Can you, once we can you be in charge of slides? That's going to be easier.
You mean me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. No worry. You know,
So you
as
put them up and then you move them forward and then I'll talk.
yeah, of course. No
Yeah.
worry.
And then you talk once we get to slide 6.
Oh, okay. So I just put the function that one participant can share at a time. So it means that you can share the slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
please.
Lan, you're the participant who can share slides. So if it's one at a time, you can do that.
All right. So yeah, let me try. Let me try to do that. Yeah. Okay. Share. Nah, I can. I mean, I'm not able to share the slide again.
Let me see.
Can you please check for me? Yeah. Thank you.
We'll sort it. Don't worry.
Okay. Can you check it right now? Can you share the slide?
Yeah.
Because it's more convenient for you.
Yeah. Right. I can do it right now. Oh.
Let's see. Let's see what it looks like. Just check it works.
Yeah. This is really the first time that I use Zoom. Where should I start? I mean, computer.
Yeah, you can go to share screen, and then you can share the slide.
Screen. You mean the desktop one, right?
Yeah, I mean in the Zoom app.
And I have basic,
and choose
advanced,
the-
advanced. So Microsoft Power. Yeah. Oh, Safari and Chrome. What about desktop number 1? Share. Can you see anything right now?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
Not yet. Oh.
Okay, so when you choose, you have to choose the PowerPoint that you want to share. You have to choose the desktop, the screen that you want to share, because you may have many icons in your computer.
Okay.
That makes sense, Lan. I mean, I can do it if you want.
Oh,
if it's
yes.
easy.
I mean, if you can do that, because I haven't, used Zoom to
Okay,
share.
I'll just try and get that set up quickly.
Thank you.
Okay, so if I open that, if I close all this to make my
Basic whiteboard.
get rid of these, get rid of these, get rid of these, get rid of these, get rid of these. And then, hold on, I should be able to go share screen. Yep, can you see that?
Nice. I love it. Yeah, I see. Very
Right.
good.
Okay, from beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And how's that looking for you? Is it moving on?
It's moving.
Yeah.
Lovely. Good, 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 good. So I think we'll leave it like that as people join us.
So now we will start in 3 minutes. Is that okay? Yeah, because
yeah, it's fine.
Our session will start at 10:30, so we will start in 3 minutes. Yeah, here we go. We can see somebody who joins our meeting.
Yeah, I saw one. Just love it.
So how's your day been, Lan? Nice morning so far?
Yeah, I guess. You know what? Hanoi is turned, into autumn right now, and the weather is lovely. Oh my God.
Is it nicer?
Wish you were here to, walk around the Salt Lake and, hanging around in the old quarter of Hanoi in this kind of weather.
Sounds lovely. Sounds really lovely.
What about you? I mean, in UK.
Autumn, but a colder autumn than your autumn. So I'm missing summer. It's getting quite cold now. It's getting really quite cold now. And obviously it's very early in the morning here. It's about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, oh my God. Did you sleep well last night?
Well, I went to bed about 10, probably slept about 11. So I've got a good 4 hours. And I'll go to bed again after this, actually. So it's a half-hour session, is that right?
Yes. You're asking her, you're asking the moderator.
Just checking with all of you. So it's 30 minutes and we talk for a maximum 20. Is that, I think that's right, is it?
Yeah, that's right. You will talk about 20 and then we'll spare some time for the Q&A session.
Brilliant.
Okay, so do you need me to make you a co-host, James?
I think that would be useful, or even if both of us could be, then we can bring people in and pull people in. Certainly if one of us, but maybe even both me and Lan would be good.
Okay, so I have already made you the co-host. And okay.
Right.
Perfect.
That's lovely.
So I think it's already time, so we can start, and other participants they can join at any time.
Okay, is this being recorded at all? It's great if it is.
Yeah, it's recorded.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I start now. Okay. Good morning, our presenters and participants. Welcome to the virtual VTSON International Convention 2020. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank you so much for your participation and contribution to our yearly convention success. We are moderator Nguyễn Thị Thanh Thanh from the University of Foreign Language Studies, University of Da Nang, and moderator Nguyễn Thị Thu Thảo from University of Languages and International Studies, Hanoi. As the presentation's moderators, we are absolutely happy to see all of you in light of virtual presence today, especially in these presentations. We highly hope that all of you will be able to have some valuable knowledge and experience as takeaways following the talk. Before the presentation, there are a few considerations. In case you have any questions or concerns about the presentation, please feel free to leave them in the chat box so that we can gather the questions for easy response in the 5 to 10 minutes Q&A session. There is a request from the organizer that all the speaker and participant will rename yourself so the conference can be well aware of your roles in the conference. And we're very glad to welcome all the speakers and participants in the VTSON International Conference. Now we will welcome our first presentation from the speaker, Ms. Lan Nguyễn and Dr. James Underwood. So Ms. Lan Nguyễn is an English teacher who is enthusiastic for children development. Her passion is to go along with children in development process, so we could learn from each other. Lan is a teacher with the Olympi School in Vietnam. She completed her MA education at the University of Northampton in the UK. Her research interests are in the teacher leaderships and the potential for teacher to lead change within their own classroom. And here about Dr. James Underwood. Dr. James Underwood from the University of Northampton, the principal lecturer. James Underwood is the principal lecturer at the Universities of Nottingham. He leads and teaches on the MA education. James taught for 19 years before becoming a lecturer. The majority of this time was in the British state sector in secondary school. He completed his doctorate in education at the Faculty of Education and the University of Cambridge. He's also worked at the University of Cambridge as an associate lecturer while still teaching in school. His research interests includes the nature of professional communities, non-positional leadership, methodology for teaching research, and teaching approaches in higher education, among others. So here presentation today is on the topic teacher leadership, non-positional leadership, challenges the potential, a case study in the Olympia School, Vietnam. Please welcome Ms. Lan Nguyen and Dr. James Underwood.
Lovely.
Okay, yep, here you are.
Lan, would you like, so shall I start, Lan?
I will look that you're going to start.
Okay, wonderful. So myself and Lan have been working on this research project for a while. We are very, very long-term colleagues, and Lan was in fact my tutee when she did her master's at the University of Northampton. And the title of this project is Teacher Leadership, Non-Positional Leadership, Challenges and Potentials, a Case Study in Olympia Schools, Vietnam. So where me and Lan are contributing to this differently, Lan is very much the project leader of this and the first author, but she's building on work that we've been doing at Northampton for some time that grew from work that I did at Cambridge before, which was on the concept of non-positional leadership. And non-positional leadership can basically be summed up as leading change when you do not have a formal hierarchical position or title. So teachers leading change in a room, teaching assistants leading change in a room, or even teachers or teaching assistants leading change in a school or a community. So this is the basic principle of non-positional leadership. I'll be talking in terms of what we have contributed to this study. Sorry, it's very early in the morning for me. In terms of what we've contributed to this study, I have contributed the theoretical framework, and then Lan has led on developing a very specific case study focused on behavior. So if we move forward a little bit to the next slide, I might have to reshare that. I do apologize. Do that again and see if that will work. No, it won't. Or is it not? Next. Okay. Okay, wonderful. As non-positionality says, it's quite a famous quote on non-positionality by Dr. David Frost of the University of Cambridge. Leadership is not the preserve of those with formal titles at the top of an organizational hierarchy. Leadership is basically demonstrated by everyone. And leadership is exercised when teachers tap into expertise. So these are some of the very key concepts that were underpinning Lan's research, is what can we do in terms of working with teachers, and what are teachers doing without even realizing it that can be defined as leadership. Okay. The second one, teachers are all researchers. This was our second principle that underpinned this project. The idea that the act of reflection is an act of unprocessed research. This has been written on by people like Andy Hargreaves and David Hargreaves and Colleen McLaughlin. And the line between research, reflection and research is very much blurred. So that's the idea that we're all researchers at any given moment, that teachers are endlessly researching their classroom, going, how does this work? How can we change this? What can we develop? And then, which is the key concept with research, is always passing that knowledge onto another. And one of the really important ideas here is teachers do this. And this is where, and I'm going to juggle between these two slides. And if you're watching this recording, I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow both of them. But this is where we've got this idea of leadership. So you're leading change, but you're leading change by reflecting on your practice and then making that public to others. So instead of leading change through a kind of executive model where you're saying, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you're leading change through a modeling process. So I've made this change within my classroom. I've kind of tinkered with it, which is a process of research or reflection. I've developed it further, and now I'm passing it on to others, and I'm passing that expertise to others to use. Okay, so the third theoretical concept is also the nature of teachers' knowledge. And then this comes back to stuff that I personally and specifically have written on over the years. And teachers' knowledge can be understood following this typology. First one, the sharing of specific classroom acts. They share knowledge about how to do something. Okay, I know how to get this class to behave this way. I know how to teach this aspect of the curriculum or the course clearly, etc., etc. But they also share approaches to teaching. I try to be kind. I try to be calm. I try to involve the students in this way or that, which is different from a specific classroom strategy, but is also something, a form of knowledge that teachers have. And I think these two are very fundamental, and they're the foundational forms of teachers' knowledge. A knowledge of purpose. Why do I choose to teach this way? And knowledge that affirms. A knowledge that affirms is knowing I'm a good teacher because people I respect tell me I'm a good teacher. And actually, for any professional, staying within their profession and remaining as the professional they are, that form of knowledge is vital. Okay, so that is the underpinning framework of it. So we've got three kind of pillars to our framework. One is the idea that leadership is conducted by people outside of leadership positions by the process of leading change. The second one is that teachers are endlessly researching, even if they don't define it as research, through the process of reflecting action. And the third one is that teachers have a complex web of knowledge that they're sharing with each other. It might be knowledge of specific strategies, classroom acts, but it might be more foundational than this. Okay, so we're doing this in Vietnam, and this is where I'm going to pass on to Lan in a couple of slides. We have a tremendous number of highly experienced and expert teachers, a strong culture of idea sharing, but, and this is based on Lan's experience of Vietnam, not mine. I don't know Vietnam well, but a less developed culture of teacher research and non-positional leadership. And we then have the Olympia schools, which is a bilingual school where Lan works, with a primary, secondary, and a high school, and a diversity of teachers. And this particular study was done with 5 teachers, 4 different subjects, and Lan will present it in the second half of this presentation. So the method is lightly structured interview. We wanted flowing professional conversations where the participants would explore their experience. We recorded these, we analyzed them, and for this presentation today, we have extracted significant quotations. So I'm now going to pass over to Lan, who's going to talk about the actual case study into this example of teacher leadership, in this case, related to behavior.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Jim, very much. You know, as Jim has mentioned about the context in Vietnam and the methodology. So right now I'm going to come further to the, how to say, to the interview, to the result that we had from many, some 5 interviews, who are the teachers at my school. Yeah, come to very first question, how teachers set up the control in the class. Actually, they are very, you know, how to say, diversity of the answer. There are 2 teachers, which is Miss Chang and Miss Hoa. They are math teacher and science teacher. They share the mutual ideas about setting rules in the class with the student. However, the rule in the class gonna be merged, you know, from the general rules of the school. You know, take another approach. Miss Zhang said that she gonna take, you know, a bigger approach when she set the control in the class. She gonna consider 3 dimensions. The very first one is the time. The student have to be on time in the class. The space. She would love that the student gonna stay in the arranged area that they have, like, you know, the seating plan, seating chart. So what kind of student gonna stay together here so they don't kind of, you know, mess the class up. And another thing is the student attitude. They're gonna make her clear, make her voice very clear about, you know, regarding to the how to say, the behavior that they need to be in the class and the materials that they have to bring before coming to the class. So kind of, you know, the whole picture approach for Miss Zhang. Even yet another idea is from Miss Hua and Miss Hong Lian. Miss Hua said that she set up the rule very clearly, but she and Miss Hong Lian, you know, set the very important roles of building the close relationship between the student and the teacher. So, you know, they're gonna get the class in more control. I mean, you know, in terms you have the close relationship with the student, they think that that gonna have, you know, the class more smooth, and they will not like doing something to mess you up during the class. Yeah, could I go to the second question? Yeah. Thank you. The second question is, you know, how the teacher gonna define, you know, a well-behaved classroom. Another teacher from the science department is Mr. Zui. He said that, you know, in his point of view, the well-behaved class is the class that, you know, in which the student will listen and follow the teacher instruction very well. Ms. Chang, you know, in another way, she emphasized how important of engagement and enthusiasm between the student and teacher, which means that they are really ready, they are very active in the class, and they are ready for any kind of, you know, activity. They are not kind of, you know, lazy or sleepy, but feel very excited for every single activity, you know, and it's come from both the teacher and the student. It's got, you know, the exchange of energy in the class. Miss Zhang, on the other hand, you know, Zhang and Zui had kind of, you know, have some mutual ideas about, you know, teacher instruction in the class. I mean, you know, Miss Zhang also agreed that, you know, the student have to listen to, you know, the teacher instruction very well. However, on another end, Miss Hua, I mean, also the science teacher, she indicate the importance of mutual respect. It means that Miss Zhang, Miss Wei, and Miss Hua also emphasize the importance of mutual respect between the teacher. It means like the demand of the student and the teacher are both met. For example, the teacher want the class to be, you know, quiet enough to deliver their speech or deliver their lecture, so the student gonna understand the how to say, the demands of the teacher, and the teacher also listen to them, listen to the student, what are the things that they need in the class, so they have kind of, you know, the mutual respect of each other. Miss Lian, however, she is literature teacher, and, you know, a little bit more come from her emotions. She said that the well-behaved class is the class that, you know, the student gonna feel the sense of belonging when they come to the class. I think that is a very, you know, interesting point, actually. Yeah, why don't we come to those very third finding? Yeah, as the next one is, you know, I want to focus more about the characteristic that the teacher have before they kind of, you know, being trained to become a teacher. I mean, you know, the methodology, something they have been trained to shape their way to teach. So here they go, some of their characteristic. Miss Lian and Miss Chang said that they had something in common. They are both very introvert teacher. However, they have a very different approach for, you know, from their characteristic to the way that they teach in the class. With Miss Chang, she doesn't want to talk that much. So that is the reason why she organized, as many as possible the activities. So the student gonna involve in the activity and, discover the knowledge themselves. On the other hand, Miss Lin, she's introvert. She's really into reading, watching the movie, going to the galleries or somewhere to, how to say, enlarge her knowledge, and all the activity that she loved to do gonna build up the background knowledge, so it gonna make her lecture more interesting and make the student more into the class rather than they want to mess up something. Yeah, so that is the very first one. The second
Sure.
one, yeah, so, like, yeah.
Sure.
This is correct. Miss Zhang, Miss Zhang and Mr. Zui, however, they emphasize the importance of, clarity. It means that they are very clear in the way that they set up, the rules, every regulation in the class, and the way that they deliver the knowledge. Well, actually they are kind of, in the very math and science department, so it's kind of, very reasonable. Miss Hua, however, she defines herself as, very open-minded person. She can accept, the difference between the student very easily. For example, like in my school, there are some students who are very extroverts. They are kind, exploding in the class, very active, want to talk, always kind. Always want to talk. However, there's some kind of student who a little bit, they are kind of, want to set themselves alone and don't want to talk that much. Or some of the students, they just, they kind of a little bit special autism, and she's really open-minded and she can accept all the to some extent to that difference. So that led, she led the student to find their own way, then direction in the class. Maybe the class is not that quite, really in control totally 100%, but the student gonna have, so space, the freedom to do the thing that they want, but still in control of the class. So, and another thing that she always had faith in kindness of the student. She believed that, some of them might behave wrongly at this time, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna last forever. They're gonna be better soon. So she's gonna be less nervous and worry about some misbehaviors in the class. Yeah. Oh, well, so we have the very first, at first is some way that they use to control the class, the definition of well-behaved class, some of their own characteristic to, set the management in the class from themselves. And right now is from, after they have been trained. Surprisingly, the student, the teachers share their experience, after they taught in Olympia school, they learned how to be flexible with the student. That is, surprisingly for me when I heard the answer from about 5 students, and they quite the same about the way they answer that. Amit Chang shared that at first when she was, in the university, and the very first year that she taught in Olympia, at Olympia school, she was so strict to the student. But right now she said that, she's really flexible with the same problem, but, with a different student, she gonna goes for different approach. For example, someone, she gonna talk in front of the class, but with some students, she gonna need to talk privately. Some students, she said that she gonna use a very, how to say, a little bit controlling identity, but the other one, she had to be very soft. So you can see here is like Chang is very flexible in the way that she deal with, different students. Miss Zhang, another point out that she learned to respect the difference and handle with the situation in the soft way rather than in the hard way that she used to do. It kind of the same with Chang. Oh, well, yeah, it's really interesting when I heard, their answers. Yes, next one, please. And in the next part, I want to mention more about, Vietnamese culture norms shape the way that they control the behavior in the class. The question, is again, I was stunned by their question, by their answer, because it's such a diversity of the idea about, how Vietnamese culture and norms shape the way that they control the class. But it also, it brings advantages and disadvantages. And the very first point, I go for advantages first. Miss Hoa shared that Vietnamese people love, belonging to a certain community. So in the class, the student really, they set the teacher and the student gonna set the certain rules and certain targets together, and student gonna follow that and behave, in the certain good way to be a part of the community. So that is a very good one. Mr. Duy and Ms. Hoa, both share the idea that the people in Vietnam, they love the people like they love themselves. It means like, how to say, the teacher, they usually manage the student by the method that they're gonna deal with the student, focus more about sharing, supporting, and heart-to-heart talking. So that is the very first one. That is the advantages of, Vietnamese culture norms. And now we're gonna come into the disadvantages. Jim, yeah. The disadvantages here, Ms. Giang mentioned that, Vietnamese culture require the student to follow the teacher, and it create a huge distance between the student and the teacher relationship. So the thing is, like, the teacher were taught, were educated in that way. The older generation, they teach the teacher in the very such how to say, autocratic leadership. So they kind of, inherit this ideology. But Vietnam right now is, in the era of globalization, and students can access to a lot of information. So that is the reason why they feel like it's really hard for them, because the students feel like they need more space, more freedom, get more respect from the teacher. And teacher right now, if they still, like, how to say, go with that way, with the, inherent ideology. So it's going to be big space for the teacher and student relationship. The teacher have to go along and learn with the student as well. Another thing is, Ms. Lien and Ms. Hoa point out that Vietnamese people are very flexible, but we only do it in the comfort zone, because, Vietnam has had to cope with many wars and faced with many difficulties. So Vietnamese people kind of, very flexible to find a way to survive. However, we need that to be in the comfort zone. So somehow, even though the teachers are very flexible, they do not dare to apply the long-term approach, because there's no instant effect to the student. Actually, the teacher want to be in the comfort zone. Right.
Okay, move on.
Yeah, please be aware of the time, because we will finish at 11. And do you still want some time for the Q&A session?
Yeah, I will look time for Q&A right now. Yeah.
We can move to Q&A right now if you want. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and participants, do you have any questions to ask our speaker? Yeah. So please feel free to ask any questions, or you can leave it in the chat box so the speaker can see it. So James and Lance, we have the question here. Would you mind sharing the faces of teachers who wish to be wanted in the management board? Do you see it? Do you see the questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lan, do you want to respond, or do you want me to respond?
Yeah, I would love you to respond this one.
Okay, I'll try and respond to that. Sorry, it's really nice. Thank you for your question. I think an interesting thing there is, I think, in a way, that's beyond our research, because what we're really interested in is the nature of leadership that goes on within rooms outside of management boards. But I suppose the one way it could link, so this is not a research-based statement, is that if we're going to empower teachers to move up into positional leadership, which is the other way of defining leadership, as it were, then really we need to embrace them as non-positional leaders early in their career and throughout their career, because otherwise what you tend to have, and I think this is true of every country, and I have no deep expertise of Vietnam, but the issue with any country is if you're not embracing non-positional leadership at an early stage, you move someone to leadership and they're suddenly being asked to make executive decisions and they have no experience of leadership, and they quite possibly fall into poor models of leadership, which can be over-authoritarian, non-discursive, kind of retreating into executive, very firm executive decision-making, partly out of nervousness. So although our passion and interest is in non-positional leadership and the potential for anyone to be a leader, we do live in a positional leadership world. And I think the thing that non-positional leadership, if one acknowledges it and supports it and tries to develop that with teachers, is it gives them the kind of launch pad to move into positional leadership at some point in their career. I'm not sure I've quite answered your question, but do come back with another if I have not.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, you can type it directly to the chat box. So we will have one more questions before we leave our meeting this morning.
You've gone mute again, Lan, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, actually, I have a class right now with my student, and they are all, standing around me.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's the reality of teachers' life, and that's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
My student, they are standing here.
I think that's lovely.
We're about to have a class in about like 5 more minutes. So yeah, I'm so sorry for this inconvenience.
Don't be sorry at all. I think what you've done is perfectly illustrated how teachers are exercising leadership within a complex environment all the time, where you're responding to change and modeling calm and professionalism. So I think they presented a visual question which you then responded to perfectly.
Thank you very much. I couldn't do that without your help. I mean, you support me a lot, and I so appreciate that.
That's been enjoyable.
Yes, and I would like to say thank you for your presentation this morning. It's very informative, productive, and the participant, if you have any questions, you can email directly to the presenters. Yeah, and they will be very willing to answer. Yes.
Yes, please do. Please do. It's really, thank you for joining us, and I hope it was of interest.
Thank you.
On behalf of the VIC to 2020, I wish you the very happy day. Yeah. And thank you and goodbye. See you soon.
Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Okay.